Hello. Hello, Alicia.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me for this classroom conversation, is what we call it. I am honored to spend some time with you as a mom, as a professional who is now what we're calling kind of we're tossing it back and forth. It's crisis homeschooling, forced homeschooling, something like that, that parents have been thrust into in the last 6 weeks or so, right? So thank you for spending that time with some time with me today. How's it going?
Everything is going well, and I thank you. It's an honor to be on here.
Yes, good, good, good. All right, so we're gonna jump right in. um, I like to, I always like to give kind of like some context. And you are one of the parents. We met on a whole nother level. We met at Alcorn State. I hope I pronounced that right because I know they're very picky about pronouncing it. I think it's Alcorn. I used to say Alcorn, but it's Alcorn. Met at Alcorn State some months back when I was releasing my second book, and you were showing us selling your cookbook.
Right. hmm
Let's take a moment. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the cookbook is basically it has vegan and vegetarian recipes that are quick and easy for moms and dads that are on the go.
Uh-huh.
The reason why I came up with the book is because I watched the documentary and I came to realize that my son had eczema flares and was getting sick with his sinuses due to the food that I was giving him. So I just decided to change his diet and I said I might as well change it for myself and we never looked back. So I want to
Wow.
share with other parents as well. So that's why I came out with the book,
Wow. And what's the title of your book?
Mama's Cooking Healthy.
Mama's Cooking Healthy by Alicia Johnson.
Johnson, yes ma'am.
Awesome. Awesome. And so your son, how old is your son?
He'll be 5 in July.
All right. So he is almost 5, really soon. What's his name?
Kyrie Jackson.
Kyrie. All right. So Kyrie, and so you've been home with Kyrie for like the last 6 weeks because he's actually in pre-K 4, right?
That is correct.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, give us some background on Kyrie. What school is he in, and what has been your experience with him in pre-K 4 so far?
Well, Kyrie is just, he makes it easy for me. I'm going to be honest with you. He loves to learn. So any little bitty thing that we can try to do to enhance his vocabulary, um, his numbers and adding, we just do it. If he's eating something, I make him count certain things. We just do that just to make him want to learn. And he's just always excited about doing it. So it's like I honestly have to give it to him because he makes it easy for me
Wow, wow. And he's been that way since.
since he was able to say anything. He was
Wow.
that.
That's amazing. So even in school, so he is obviously a good student in school.
Yes, he is.
So he
He is.
does well. And what are his challenges? What would you say? Does he have any challenges
He
that
does have some challenges.
okay.
He hasn't really fully adapted to the fact that he's in a classroom and
Okay.
there's students. He always assumes that the teacher is only talking to him. So when she asks questions, we're trying to teach him how to, you have to raise your hand, so that's what I've been doing mostly at home through this,
Okay.
that way he'll know how to progress in school because
Okay. So he's taking a little bit of time to. It's called that ego. They call it egocentric when kids, they don't realize that there's a big old world, right? And it's bigger than me. So he's having a little bit of trouble adjusting to that. But otherwise, he's a very good student, obviously.
yes,
All
yes, he
right. About how many students would you say are in Kyrie's class?
has 15 students in this class.
Okay, so a good student teacher ratio as well. So take us back to the day approximately 6 weeks ago when you heard from the school that due to COVID-19, due to the coronavirus, you would be responsible for, at least in the beginning, it was what, a couple of weeks? But
Mhm.
take us back to that day when you found out that you would be responsible primarily for his education.
Honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. My heart dropped
Wow.
because I felt like I was like, okay, this is a lot of pressure, not only for me but for his dad as well. We have to make sure that he's ready for kindergarten. This is what y'all basically telling me. You know, that's what I'm thinking in my head. And then once I had a couple of days with him, I just I loved it. You know, it's because I was able to see what the teacher has been dealing with. The frustration that he gets when he's not getting an answer correct. So it's like each day I was learning something new about my child that I didn't even know.
Oh, this is good. I want you to don't give us too much yet, because I want to take you back to that first date, because I want to take you because we're going to come back to that part. What did they say did they call? Did they send a message home? What did the school? How did they notify you that this is it? You've got to make sure he's ready for next year.
It was the automatic. We always get updates. They call the phone, and it was just an automatic, message, and I'm
A
listening.
robocall. You got a robocall to a robocall to say, hey, don't send him to school Monday. That's it. Take care of it. Wow. So your heart dropped, and dad is in the home with you, with you and Kyrie.
Yes, but he's very, very active in his life. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So he's active. Dad is involved. That is okay. So that means that now both of you, even in separate households, are now thinking, whoa, this is heavy. This is something that why did it feel so heavy? What was scary about it?
I just felt like it was such a huge challenge. It's one thing to do homework with him every night or go over something or watch something educational, but to actually have to come up with your own little lesson plan to make sure he's still getting what he needs, it just, my anxiety had acted up.
Yeah. So you're thinking now, okay, I'm used to just doing the extra stuff in the afternoon. I'm used to just kind of checking the box in the evening after the teacher has done, their plan for the day. But now you're telling me I have to behave as if, that I'm the person that is going to be solely responsible for making sure that he gets this. So the transition, tell me about the transition. How did you go from, and you mentioned it a minute ago, you kind of, each day got a little bit easier. What was that transition like? What did you have to do in order to start experiencing a smooth process?
Actually, at first, I was receiving the worksheets because his teacher was sending worksheets. So we was doing that, but I felt like it was too repetitive.
All
So
right.
I switched roles with him. I made him be my teacher, and I was the student. And I had stuffed animals in the room. Those were my classmates. And
Mm-hmm.
I asked him questions to get answers out of him. And then
Uh-huh.
made him feel like, okay, I'm smart. So he was speaking to me differently. And
Yeah.
I allowed him to feel what it feels when I speak out of turn. So he,
Yeah.
that's how we played that role. And then I would switch it up. And then he started acting differently as the student because I feel like he felt what his teacher was feeling, by me not raising my hand, so that's what I did.
That lack of impulse control.
Right, exactly.
So he got to see it. So you almost immediately saw that there was a need for you to switch gears, and if something appeared repetitive, is that a culture that's been developed at his school? And you're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Is that a culture that's been developed at his school where you feel the autonomy or the freedom to switch up whatever is not working for him? Is that the culture of the school, or is that just something you decided, I just have to do that? That works best for him.
I honestly, I prayed about it. I was like, I
Mhm.
want to I have to ask God all the time, show me how you want me to do this, because I'm not an expert on this. So when I was younger, that's what we used to do. I'm the oldest of six, so we used to play in the house together, and I used to be the teacher. So when I thought about that, I said, you know what? Well, maybe this might work with them, and that's what made me come up
And
with
that's the key. And so is that process, is that still working for him? Is
it.
that
Yes, he's actually excited about it. He gets
awesome?
different toys and gets the classroom set up, and I'm
I
like,
love it.
I'm ready, Professor Kyrie. Let's do this, And he's
Love it.
stuff. He's really doing a good job.
I love it. So how do you introduce new material? So if he's the teacher, how do you introduce new material so that that's something that he's not just constantly doing the same thing or things that he knows?
I will ask a question. I'll just like raise my hand and say, how many ways can we come up with 10? You said 5 plus 5 is 10, but what if I have 10 minus 5?
Oh,
That,
it's amazing.
and then he'll just be like, Mama. And then we just go from there. And then
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I know that there are parents who they look at us, the educators, as the experts in the sense of we know everything, or sometimes we can be looked at as, okay, I'll give it to the teacher because the teacher knows. The teacher knows, but you know your child, right? You know your child. So it's so critical for you to take that initiative and then take the knowledge of what you've experienced, mix that with what you know about your child, and just infuse that into a workable situation. And it doesn't take a lot of energy, does it?
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't. You work a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. Talk about that. Tell us how you've been able to squeeze all of that into your schedule with Kari.
With my schedule, I'm given two 15-minute breaks and 1 hour break. So I put him on a schedule where I try to get as much work as done before he wakes up. And then once he's up, I use that break to get him adjusted to, get him ready for the day. And I give him an assignment. So once he get that assignment, he eat his food or whatever. And on that hour break, we check it. And then we play school once I get off. So I just fit it. I had to map out a schedule because I didn't want him to think that, okay, mama's ignoring you.
Yeah.
Mama have to work,
Yes.
He didn't got to a point where he knows I have to, because I work on a computer. So he knows if mom is at the desk, I'm gonna leave her alone. However,
Yeah.
I kind of like if I have to go to the bathroom, of course, because we human, I go
Mm-hmm.
away to the desk and I'll check on him, and he'll say, "I have all my work ready, Mama."
Oh,
It's like we have a routine. It took us
all
a
right.
minute to get there, but we have
Okay. So, and what did you do to enforce that? It took you a minute to get there. So what did you have to do to make sure that he understood what this schedule was going to look like?
I put my headset on. I told him, I said, when you see these headsets on,
Mm-hmm.
Mama's on the phone, and you have to be really quiet, and you have to let Mama work. So now he knows. Now, if I have it off and I'm at the computer, he's going to come to me. So I keep that headset on so he'll know that I'm working. So
Got it. Got it. Okay. What challenges would you say Kyrie is experiencing?
um the fact he misses friends. He
Right.
he really do miss his friends. He thought that he was punished.
Wow. Tell me about that.
He asked me, he said, Mama, I miss so and so. Of course it's a female. uh, I miss so and so, and I said, well, she's at home with her mom. And
Mhm.
I explained to him what's going on, because I want him to know. And so he has like letters in his book sack that he's gonna give to her next time he sees
He's going to give those letters to her. Okay. Okay. How did you explain it to him? What did you say?
I told him that there was a virus out that's attacking people, and Mama have to protect you from the virus. The school
Mm-hmm.
protect you from the virus, so you have to stay inside. And he said, "There's a virus attacking people." I said, "Yes, sir, there
Sounds
is."
like a horror movie.
I make him. I had to make him see how serious it was. So
Yes.
that's what I told him. But we learning Psalms 91. He knows it from the beginning to the end. So that's a
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so look, every morning that's my psalm, Psalm 91, reading it and reciting it. So and that's beautiful. That's something that you're making a part of his a part of the process with him. What would you say to the parent who says, okay, all right, Alicia, you have, the perfect child, no issues since the beginning. He and his last name is Jackson.
Jackson. Yes.
Yes, Professor Jackson has wanted to learn since the beginning, since the start. And he's not a kid. He's a kid who obviously knows how to follow instructions. When mommy has her headset on, you have to do such and such. What do you say to the parent who does not necessarily have that perfect situation? What advice would you give them?
I always relate every situation to food.
Okay.
Because if you feed your child certain foods, it's going to change their whole mind frame.
Okay.
They're not going to want to think like they should. They might, if you give them too much sugar, they're going to be hyperactive. If you give them too much junk food, they're going to be sitting, lazy, don't want to do anything. I encourage you to give them as many fruits and vegetables as possible to nourish them and give them the natural energy that they need, and pay attention to them. If they say, Mom, I want to play, that's their way of saying they miss you. If your baby come to you and say they want to play with you, that's their way of saying that I miss you. That's how I take them. So that's what I would encourage you. Just do more with them. Make them, because you're in control. You the parent. So I'm gonna have to put all this to the side. Come in. Let's do this. If it's just playing tic-tac-toe, just do something simple and then gradually get into that education part. And then I'm pretty sure that they would get on board because you're the leader.
Yeah. So take the lead as a parent, take the lead. And you mentioned, which is something that we haven't had a whole lot of discussion about. And that's why I'm so excited about talking to parents like you to add dimension to the conversation, because all of the conversations I've had so far with parents, we have not discussed the importance of intake. What are they eating? Are they eating the right things to help them to be motivated to learn, to wake up on time, those kinds of things? Because if we're letting them just kind of eat what they want, sugar and sodas and not drinking water, that kind of thing, that definitely affects their energy level, their ability to focus. So that's a very good suggestion for our parents out there that are meeting this head on. Nobody has the perfect process, right? Not even in the classroom do we have the perfect process, but to find a parent who is willing to trial and error, figure it out, and do the best that you can, that's an encouragement to those of us that are in the school community.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that you felt like they were saying, all right, you got to get him to kindergarten.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that it's happening? Do you think that he's going to be prepared when we start school again in August, September? Do you feel like what you're doing is helping him?
I really feel that way. I feel like I'm getting them there. I'm probably not the perfect, teacher, 'cause I'm not certified, but I I have faith that once he gets into kindergarten, he's gonna remember everything we did with this time that we had together, and he's gonna be good. I think every child is gonna be just fine. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Have you gotten support from the school? How often are you hearing from the school, communicating with teachers, things of that nature?
The school has been great. I mean, they made us enroll into Google Class.
Okay.
Every morning he has an assignment. They're actually somebody is reading a book. You have to write your name, take a picture of it, and send it to them. It's stuff like that. And then his teacher has scheduled a conference video chat and had her with all the students and he was able to communicate with his classmates. I thought that was so beautiful. I was
Mhm.
like getting teary-eyed. I was like, I get teary-eyed. But I really do appreciate them for doing that, because it means that they genuinely care, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What do you think? What do you think Kyrie is going to walk away from this situation with? Is who's he gonna? Is he gonna walk out a different person after this?
I don't know.
Okay.
He probably would. I know he's gonna miss this, because
Mm,
he loved his mama. Lord, he loved being with his family. You know, that
okay.
kind of thing. So, but then again, I can say he loved his friends. So he may not. You know, I'm not for sure, but I know he'll be happy, because you didn't got a lot of rest. A lot of rest.
What are you doing with him socially?
Oh, well, where I live at across the street is a church, and of course we can't go to church right now. So
Mhm.
the parking lot out there, we go out there at least every other day. On the weekends we go in the morning time, which he don't really like that too much.
Uh-huh.
Gotta get him up. But when I get off work, we go across the street and we'll do jumping jacks and little sets of stuff. I don't try to wear him out, you know, because I need to be doing a lot, but I don't want to do that to him. You know, he's just 4. So we go out there and we do our running and stuff, and I'll let him lead and I do stuff that he wants, and we'll come back, we'll eat some breakfast, we'll drink our water and pass out. Sleep.
Uh-huh.
Out.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time once again to have this conversation with me. Every story that I'm gathering from all of the men and women that are teaching their own kids during this quarantine has been an encouragement, because it's saying, yes, yes, it's not the easiest thing in the world. We had to make some changes, had to do some juggling, and but we're doing it. We're getting it done, and some of it we've had to tweak, we've had to transition, but we're getting it done. We talked about your cookbook in the beginning. I want you to drop your Instagram. If you have a Facebook, drop that for us so that anyone who is watching will be able to find you.
Okay, I am on Instagram as MC Healthy 225. I'm also on Facebook as Mama's Cooking Healthy, and on Twitter as MC Healthy 225.
Awesome. Alicia Johnson, everybody. And I'm Ariane Craig Jala. And if you are looking for more information about what it takes to teach your own kid, check us out, teachyourown.kid.com. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook as Teach Your Own Kid. Have a good day, everybody.
Right.